MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Millions of dollars in new tax revenue pouring into Montana coffers thanks to marijuana sales. Just ahead, see just how much money has been collected.
I'm Joe St. George in Washington. Will a recession happen this year or not? Many economists seem to think so. So what should you do right now for your family to prepare? We explain next.
It must be has been collected. Words out of Chet Lehman's mouth.
It's
either being collected or has been collected, but you can't use has been.
It has been.
Yet I just
has
did.
been.
It's Thursday, Matt.
Yeah, it is
And it's
Thursday.
chilly
That's
outside.
a tough day for us here.
People have no idea if you
yeah.
not work the morning show. Yeah.
And you have to work with us.
And that's sidebar
right.
too. Yeah,
that's right. It is being cold outside, so temperatures into the teens and single digits for most of the areas. Some warmer temperatures. We're seeing a little extra wind. Cloud trying to roll back into the area right now. The clouds have been. It looks like it's hard to even say that now.
Use being funny.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Not really. Temperatures will be into the 20s and 30s for the afternoon. It does look like we see a few scattered snow showers. We'll talk about amounts. I'm going to sleep. We'll talk more about your forecast in a bit.
This next story might help us both relax. Matt, the state of Montana releasing estimated numbers for the first year in recreational marijuana sales. Overall figures show more than $300 million exchanged hands in combined recreational and medical marijuana transactions across the state. Breaking that down, recreational adult use sales totaled nearly $203 million, while medical marijuana sales totaled some $93 million. Senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian has more on the first taxes collected and how lawmakers could continue to tweak the state's cannabis laws.
In December, the Montana Department of Revenue reported another $25 million in combined recreational and medical marijuana sales, consistent with the monthly average throughout 2022. The other main trend, adult use sales continue to take up a greater share of the market.
It just shows that this market has been here. I think that's what we see, is that we've taken from the black market so much and put it into the white market, the legitimate market, as it were, with licensed producers, a very safe product.
Pepper Peterson, CEO of the Montana Cannabis Guild, was one of the lead advocates in the 2020 campaign to legalize recreational marijuana. He says they expected $260 to $280 million in total sales the first year, and the $300 million total for 2022 was well above that.
I think that's representative of about 40 tons of product in the system in Montana, and that's all Montana grown and Montana processed and sold right here in state.
Peterson estimates the industry now supports about 5,000 jobs in Montana. The high sales numbers and shift from medical to adult use sales also means revenue for the state. During a meeting with lawmakers this week, Montana Department of Revenue leaders said the state had more than $35 million in cannabis taxes in its general fund. During this session, the legislature will consider potential updates to the laws on marijuana sales. One bill, House Bill 128, would make a number of tweaks, including extending a moratorium on new marijuana businesses for 2 more years, but allowing some businesses that started soon after the legalization vote to begin adult use sales. That would be big news for people like Cindy Coleman, who owns Sean's Way, a dispensary in Helena, named after her son who benefited from medical marijuana before his death from cancer. She says she started her business in 2017, gave it up for family reasons, and returned in 2020, but just missed the deadline to join the recreational market. Coleman believes many people are giving up medical marijuana cards because of the cost.
The impact is I turned away at least 10 people a day. I can't help those people because they don't have medical marijuana cards.
House Bill 128 was scheduled to have its first hearing next Tuesday, but that's now been delayed. Representative Joshua Kazmaier, the sponsor of the bill, says he now expects it to have a hearing possibly sometime the following week. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
All right, 6:34 now. New analysis shows Americans are spending more of their savings to offset inflation. This comes as around 2/3 of major banks in our country predict a recession will happen sometime this year. Joe St. George shows us what might happen if a recession takes place and how your family should prepare for one.
Here's the reality. No one really knows what's going to happen to the economy in 2023. Why is that? Well, they didn't get it right last year. Many people who pay attention to the closing bell each day thought inflation would be temporary. They were wrong. But that's not stopping Wall Street and top economists from making predictions again. It's not necessarily good news. Banks like Barclays and Bank of America are saying that a recession is going to happen. One reason? The Federal Reserve and its decision to not just raise interest rates to fight inflation, but raise them at the fastest clip in history. Generally speaking, interest rate hikes can reduce demand for services and goods, which can mean less revenue for businesses. That can lead to layoffs or hiring freezes and, in some cases, a recession. But interest rates are only one statistic. Take, for instance, a piggy bank. During the pandemic, Americans were putting a lot of their extra income into savings. That's a good thing. However, in the last several months, more Americans have broken into their piggy banks to get by. In fact, new analysis from JP Morgan shows that savings went from $1.9 trillion early last year to just $900 billion today. That means Americans spent $1 trillion from their savings last year. Declining savings is perceived by many economists as a red flag, since in order to stop draining the account, Americans typically just stop spending. Well, between savings going down and interest rates going up, there are certainly enough signs that you should be prepared. So what should you do, and what should you expect from Congress? First off, don't expect much help from Washington. In recent times, Congress has passed stimulus packages to help the economy during recessions. They did that at the start of the pandemic, which was technically a recession, and they did that in 2008 during the Great Recession. However, many conservatives in the House of Representatives campaigned on less spending. A large stimulus package is not at the top of any conservative's agenda in the House right now. So how should you prepare your family for a possible recession? Well, financial experts suggest you reconstruct that piggy bank. Having savings can help during hard times. And keep an eye on your credit cards, too. If something is high interest, take steps to cut it up, or at the very least, reduce spending on it. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
All right, 6:36 this morning in Rome, Pope Francis presided over the funeral for the late Pope Emeritus Benedict. The service drew an estimated 100,000 people to St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. Many more watched from around the world. MTN's Ryan Berg spoke with the Helena Diocese about how it's remembering Benedict XVI.
Pope Benedict XVI passed away on December 31st. Father Bart Tolson of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Helena followed Benedict when he was actively Pope and shares what Benedict meant to him and the religion. At the age of 95, within the walls of the Vatican, Pope Benedict XVI passed away just before the new year began. Benedict was selected as Pope in 2005, but stepped down in 2013 due to health concerns, the first Pope to do so in almost 600 years. Father Bart Tolson has been a member of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Helena for years, and says Pope Benedict was a critical leader of the religion.
Pope Benedict was just an amazing scholar. He brought the scriptures to life. He brought so many saints to life in his writings and his thinking, and really brought so many ideas in the church to life for me. So it was a very much of a lived faith, a joyful faith, a faith that wasn't just stuck in books, but really was lived in the heart.
Benedict inspired many priests. Tolson reflected on Benedict's legacy ahead of the funeral.
I think he leaves us a great legacy in his writings, in his thinking. I think also just a real love for the faith, a real love for Jesus Christ, not only as a kind of an idea, but as a person.
And he adds his writing will continue to be studied long after his death.
We won't forget his writings in the near future. I mean, his writings, his thought will be studied in seminaries for centuries to come, I have no doubt.
Both of the daily masses at St. Helena Cathedral on Thursday will be celebrated a memorial for Pope Benedict XVI. The current Pope, Pope Francis, will oversee Benedict's funeral in St. Peter's Square on Thursday. In Helena, Ryan Berg, MTN News.